Hello and welcome to this first look at Taxi Chaos. My name's Andrew and you're watching the crossplayers on YouTube or wherever you happen to be watching us. I don't know where we are. But thank you very much for joining me. This is a very obvious homage to Crazy Taxi on the Dreamcast. And being as I am the big Dreamcast aficionado in the team, I mean, there's a couple of us, to be fair, a few of us, but, so I'd put myself forward to give this game a go. So let's jump in, shall we? And I will show you what it's all about. So there are a lot of loading screens in this. I say a lot of loading screens. I mean, when it does load, it takes a little while. Now, it's probably because it's on the Switch. But it takes a little while to load initially, and then it will load the map each time you go into it, which can take a little bit of time. But the percentage doesn't actually show. It jumps from 0 to like 2% or something and then just loads. This is fine, but when you're doing this, you'll see in a minute anyway, you'll see. So that could probably do with a little bit of tweaking. But here we go. And it's fairly basic. Look at that character model, for example. Fairly basic. But you're not looking at the characters when you're playing this game, to be perfectly honest. You are looking at the car and the city itself. So I have played this for a little bit already, and I thought I'd give you a bit of a tour around it. So arcade mode is the main mode, of course, and this is very much like Crazy Taxi in that you go around the city picking up people who need a lift somewhere, taking them there as quickly as you can, and trying not to get into too much trouble and slow yourself down. A lot of cool stuff that happens as you go around. There's things to find, things to do, which you'll see, hopefully. Pro mode, I've not unlocked yet, and you need 4 or higher for rating, which I think is the star rating, and I've not quite got that yet. So if we unlock that this time, great, I'll show you, but if not, I'm not sure what this is exactly. Free roam is exactly what it sounds like. It is just going around the city, and you can pick up fares as and when you like, and there's no time limit. You've got achievements, which we can go through now. And there are a bunch here. I won't stop to dwell on any of them, but there's also collectibles, which looks like you have a quest to do each one, and there's a fair few there, so that's nice. Something different. You've got the options, which are fairly standard and bare bones, and then you've got a leaderboard, which is trying to load here. I have got a few times. I'm very low down the leaderboard. Yeah, there you go. Oh, number 13. Okay. Okay, not bad, not bad. But not at the top by any means at all. So there you go. And let's just jump into some arcade mode fun, and I'll show you what this game is all about. So you've got 2 drivers, Vinny and Cleo. So let's start with Cleo. Go. You start with 1 car, which is the King Vic, and as you kind of build up your star rating, I think if you get 2 stars and then 3 stars, you can unlock cars. And well, it's different things. You see here, drive a distance of 25 miles in any mode to unlock. Drop of 100 customers in any mode to unlock. That should be drop off. So if the developer is watching this, hello, and the developer being Team6 Game Studios. But there's a few cars here, but unlike Crazy Taxi, you have 2 drivers and they can drive whichever of these cars they wish. So let's start on the best car we have here. Now listen out. Well, here you go. Look at this loading screen for starters. That should really be showing the percentage that it's loaded. But also listen out for the person who introduces you.
Slow days aren't that bad if you think about it. Try to get as many customers before your shift ends.
She could sound a bit more excited, couldn't she? Don't know why I sped up straight away. So as you can see, there is, when you're kind of at a standstill, you can do this pretty much any time, but when you're at a standstill, you hold the 2 trigger buttons and you will get a boost of speed. Now, I've not quite got the proper hang of that yet. You've also got A to jump.
Watch out. Oi, watch out. Boy, thanks for the lift. Hey,
Lovely, 5 stars.
Hi, where are you headed?
I'm visiting someone at the hospital. You know how to get there?
Will do.
So some of these voices are interesting. But yeah, here you go.
How are things going with you?
Oh, you know, one step closer to retirement and living out my days in an old folks' home.
So pretty well then. Nice.
Yep, bashing into police cars
Ooh-wee. Watch out, will ya?
will get money knocked off for you, so that's one thing that you won't find in Crazy Taxi.
Thanks for picking me up. It's hard to hail a cab sometimes.
Also,
It's like
I
I
find it
didn't know
difficult
it now.
sometimes to stop in the right place, so like that's within, but you have to be right
Check
within,
me in at the Royal Park Hotel, please.
which can be difficult in the driving. But what I will say is that the handling in this is nice. It just can be a bit difficult to figure out where to stop properly. That's the only thing. But unlike Crazy Taxi, you accelerate with the right trigger and you brake and reverse with the left trigger. So there's no having to change gears in this, which was kind of a vestige of the fact that it was an arcade machine, Crazy Taxi, and it had the gear stick in that, and you didn't have that in the Dreamcast, of course.
With a minute to spare. Over here.
So it's nice that there's a bit of a modern sensibility about the driving controls in this. It does feel very nice to drive. Not sure why it stopped. So I think this is another thing that they said they were fixing, is that when you jump, it will kind of do this, it stops, which I kind of get. Maybe that's something to do with the fact that it jumping means that, you know, you're kind of cheating almost. You're jumping over traffic, which means that you're not going to bash into anything, but it doesn't always happen, look, you see. So it's obviously a bug. So I think...
For today.
What? So this is another thing. I feel like it doesn't give you enough time. And there's no way to change the amount of time that you have, like you can in Crazy Taxi. So you can't do like a 3-minute, 5-minute, 10-minute session or anything like that. It is just arcade mode, straight up, and that's it. Maybe that's the pro mode. Maybe that's what that is. We'll find out hopefully at some point. But I'm still only got 3 stars, so I won't be finding out right now. Also, that music. If you've noticed the music, now that is just the same music they play all the time. They've also told us as part of getting this code, so thank you very much, by the way, to the team for giving us this code it's Lion Castle Entertainment and GS2 Games Inc. are the publishers, so thank you very much, you guys, for the code for this, very much appreciated. But yeah, they have said that they're going to be adding some rock music in. They've made sure to emphasize that won't be the Offspring, so temper your expectations. But yeah. Let's give that arcade mode another go with Vinny this time.
There we go. Sweet.
But you will notice there's about 6 different characters in this, and they do take the mickey of themselves by saying that they keep picking up the same people again and again. So there's some, you know, they take the mickey out of themselves, which is nice. They reference themselves, and the problem being though is that they all have the same accent. You know, there's probably about 6 different accents, 3 female, 3 male.
Before your shift ends.
And they have little conversations, so the driver and the passenger will have a conversation, but there's only about maybe 10 at the most conversations that they'll have, and after a while that gets grating, especially if you're playing over and over and over again to get a high score. You just hear the same ones over and over again. So maybe some better music, and I don't want to crash into that police car. Some better music, and perhaps some, what would we say? Yeah, some more conversation options would be good. Or at least the ability for it to remember what conversations you've already had with people that you've driven, because they can...
Here we go.
They can...
Thanks for the lift.
Different people in the same game can say the same thing to you, so it just feels so repetitive, and they could have done something about that. And the other option, of course, is that they could turn off the conversations in the options. Maybe that's an option that we could have, is to turn off those conversations so we can just focus on the driving. It's nice that they're in here. It gives it that... This isn't great. It gives it that edge of comedy to it, which I like. Yeah, this isn't going well, is it? Just to note as well, this is meant to be New York City. Cartoon version of it, of course, and a very, very shrunken version of it. You can see Statue of Liberty, and of course you probably just saw the Empire State Building in the background there. There's Central Park, there's Times Square, so there's a lot of the monuments there, but it's a shrunk down version.
So reckless.
But it's nice. This is the Switch version. It doesn't particularly have the best graphics ever. There's a lot of pop-in and a lot of murky textures in the background there. Some pop-in there, and the textures can then pop in as well. Or go from murky to not murky. Game over, and it's right there as well. Oh, 4 stars. Oh, okay. Does that mean I get pro mode? It does. Interesting. Let's give that a go with Cleo.
Let's get this show on the road.
And we've got a new taxi as well.
Good choice.
The weight is heavy though. That's going to be interesting here. Does that mean we don't jump as far? I'm not sure. So this is a first look, but I've just been saying as well what my issues have been with the game. But you know, if you're going to be paying money... Oh, that's a bug. If you're going to be paying money for this, then you want to know what the issues are. See, the stopping isn't fantastic, but I guess that depends on the car.
Regal State Tower.
Let's get ready.
Oh, okay. Pro mode takes away... I don't know where I'm going.
I know, right? I hate how consumers and commercialism. By the way, if you're in the market for local food, please buy the
So hang on.
links. Hashtag sponsored post.
X. What does X do? Oh, X hides that. And there was a foot thing as well. What does that mean? Does that mean kick the passenger out?
Excuse me.
Let's see. Let's see. Why?
Oh, yeah.
Why doesn't seem to do anything?
Oh, you name it. I DJ, I model, I travel, I cook.
Yeah, I can't figure out what Y does. But there you go. This is pro mode. It expects you to know the city. There's the Statue of Liberty. It expects you to know the city, which is interesting. It's an interesting way of doing it. Of course, I have no idea because I've not played the game anywhere near enough. But that does add an extra level of That does add an extra level to the game of challenge,
That's it for today.
which is fine. That woman's voice needs to be changed. She's not excited in the slightest, is she? She doesn't care. All right. Let's give you a brief look at Free Roam with Vinny.
Good choice.
So yeah, there's a lot that needs to be done. To be perfectly honest, this game. Is it worth the price that they're charging? Let's take a look at how much they're charging for it while I'm waiting for this to load. So this is hang on, is that? So they are doing a physical version of this. It looks like.
This city has a
Maybe.
lot to
Oh
offer
no,
if
that's
you
not good,
look
is it?
for Take your
So at the
time and
moment,
see
so
what it you
is going to
can
be
find.
£31.49 on the eShop. At the moment, if you purchase it by the 22nd, which is launch date, which is today, in fact, sorry. So this video will probably go out before you've even had a chance. But there is a small 10% discount, which makes it £28.34. Can I recommend it for that price? I cannot, from what I've played so far. I really cannot. £15.99 is where this feels like it sits. It's nice for sure. I like it, and I love that a company is doing what Sega will not do and kind of making sequels to games that people genuinely loved, like Crazy Taxi. And we've got another company making a game called Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, which is a spiritual successor to Jet Set Radio. And of course, this being a bit of a spiritual successor to Crazy Taxi, although can you call it that if it's not by the same publisher or developer? I don't know. But you know, you can see, I mean, this is Crazy Taxi all over, just with some modern sensibilities and some quality of life improvements thrown in. But even with those, to be honest, you know, the controls are nice. Being able to reverse by pressing the trigger instead is fine. I don't know, it's not worth 30 odd quid. Not to me anyway. And I would certainly say wait for a sale. And wait for it to drop to maybe about 15 quid-ish or less.
Check me in at the Royal
And I don't say that lightly, because I want people to support devs that make games like this that are kind of spiritual successors to Dreamcast games, but they also have to be good and they have to be worth the money that you're paying for them. And this is fun and everything, but is it £30 worth of fun? And it is strange because, you know, we're more than willing to pay £60 for a remake or a remaster of a game from 10-20 years ago, and we were willing to pay probably £30-40 at the time of the Dreamcast for a game like this. But times have moved on. It is a different world now, and digital downloads especially, you're picking these things up to play on a whim. I don't know. We're not in. I don't think we're anymore in the time frame that you can. In the time frame, you know, in the timeline where you can pick up a game like this for 30 quid and it makes sense, because, you know, it may do to some people, but to me, I would probably rather spend that £30 on an experience that I'm gonna appreciate more. This is just gonna be something I pick up every now and again. Maybe do some leaderboard chasing with some friends if some friends get it, although at this price I'm not sure they will. But yeah, there's a lot to like about this game, but it certainly needs some work still. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh my. Oh, and I jumped straight out. Okay. It, just as I said, it needs some work still. It showed that to me, and it's doing it again. Oh my. Okay, yeah, it definitely needs some work, and it is, you know, it releases tomorrow, the 23rd. I'm recording this on the 22nd, as you probably heard. However, what they have said, the developer has said, they are going to be patching this. There's going to be a day one patch for the other console versions. And I think this is out on the PC as well, perhaps. But for Switch, we're going to be waiting a good couple of weeks. So if you want this for the Switch, I would say wait for at least a couple of weeks until they've patched it and added that rock music and fixed these bugs and that kind of stuff. But even then, perhaps I'd wait a bit longer and maybe wait until they've fixed some more stuff, like perhaps, you know, the woman's voice at the beginning, he needs to sound a bit more excited, and perhaps some of the dialogue options, either, you know, making them less repetitive, adding more in, or giving you the option to turn them off. I will check before we finish this video if you can turn them off, actually, because maybe you can. So wait for that, and I'd also wait for a price cut, because I do not think it's worth the price that they're charging. But let's just have a quick look at the menu. The options to audio. I mean, you can turn the voice volume off, so there is that. So, you know, that's fine. But there you have it. Thank you so much for joining me for the first look. It was a little bit of a review as well, I suppose. I think I will have some fun with this. It does have a very fun vibe to it, and I'm getting that nostalgia hit of it being, you know, a crazy taxi-like game. So excited in that kind of regard. But I do think there's a lot of work to do to it in terms of fixing bugs and making it even better. And I think it does need to come down in price before a lot of people will jump on it, because I think that is quite a lot for the game that they have here. All right, that's me. That's everything. Thank you very much for joining me today. If you enjoyed the video, please do like, subscribe, share it with everybody you know, and please do comment below as well if you have any thoughts on this. If you have any questions, or if you have now bought it and you kind of want to let me know what you think about the game, would be great to hear that. Come find us on Twitter at @thecrossplayers. You can also find us at thecrossplayers.co.uk, and we're all over other places as well. But come and find us and say hello. We'd love to hear from you. We're also on Patreon, patreon.com/thecrossplayers. You can throw us as little as $1, and you get early access to, well, you don't get early access, you get exclusive access to pre-show pods. We do podcasts as well. And all our podcasts can be found on the usual podcatchers. All right, take care. Bye-bye.